my goodness, we have a fast and fun lesson today. We're doing lesson 34 and we're talking about variables and evaluation. So, anytime we see two variables, remember letters that take the place of numbers we don't know yet are variables. And anytime we see two variables right side by side, that's multiplication. Okay? Also, if we see a 2 in front of a variable, that's multiplication. That would be 2 times x. Okay, so numbers that are right up next to each other, when you have one of them a variable, is multiplication. So now we've got xy plus x when x is 2 and y is 4. So now we're going to plug in, everywhere we see an x, we're going to plug a 2. Everywhere we see a y, we're going to plug a 4. This is our pattern. So we've got x times y, because they're close together like that, plus, there's a plus sign, x again. Okay, so x, y, x. So now we're going to go substitute. Everywhere we see an x, we're going to put a 2. So we take out the x, we put in a 2. We take out the x, we put in a 2. Everywhere we see a y, we put a 4. Okay, so now we're always going to use our order of operations. This is multiplication, and it's a higher order than addition, isn't it? So 8 plus 2 is 10. That is the answer to the first example. This one is a fun one because we have 3 things that we're going to have to substitute in. Now this first one, xmy, that's 3 letters all close together. So it's x times m times y, and then minus, and then x times y are close together, so that's multiplication also. So x times m times y minus xy. So now let's substitute in. Everywhere we see an x is 2, we're going to plug in a 2 for the x, and then a 2 for the x. And then everywhere we see an m, we plug in a 5. There's only one m. And everywhere we see a y, we plug in a 4. So here is a y, it becomes a 4. Here is a y, it becomes a 4. My 4 is dipping down into my other. Okay, so now, what is the answer? We start left to right, and we have a multiplication right here. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 4 is 40. And 40 take away 2 times 4 is 8. 40 take away 8 is 32. And that is the answer to example number 2. Aren't those fun? This one's lots of fun because we have fractions. Okay, so we have mx plus 4m, where x is 2/3 and m is 9 over 11. So we're going to have parenthesis, parenthesis, m and x are multiplied together, plus 4 times m. Okay, so now we've kind of got our skeleton over here of what's going on. Everywhere we see an x, we're going to plug in a 2/3. And there's only one x, so we're going to put a 2/3. Everywhere we see an m, we're going to put a 9/11. So we see an m 9/11, and we see an m 9/11. Ooh. So now what are we going to do? The 3 and the 9 can cancel with a 1 and a 3. So we're going to get 6 on the top, 11 on the bottom, plus, now remember this 4 is a 4 over 1. So 4 times 9 is 36 over 11. When we add them together, we get 42 over 11. And we didn't start out with mixed numbers on that one, so I'm going to leave it right there, 42 over 11. And this is funny because now they decide to put it in mixed numbers. When I looked back at the answer, they put it back in mixed numbers, but they never had mixed numbers anywhere else. Why did they decide to put that one back in mixed numbers? But if we did, 11 goes into 42 3 whole times because that's 33. And then there are 9/11ths left over. I would have left it like that. Only 2 practice problems, and then I'll send you on your way to do your homework. Okay, this is our first practice, so as soon as you have copied it down, pause your video. Okay, so let's make our skeleton here. So we're going to have x, y, plus, this is multiplication, y, x. Okay, so x is 2. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to take that out and plug in a 2. Y is 4. See how easy that is to do when you have a little skeleton there to just plug them in? So now 8 plus 8 is 16. How easy a practice is that? I hope you think this is as much fun as I do. Here is our last practice problem. Okay, so copy it down and pause your video. Try to make the skeleton all by yourself. Okay, here we go. Skeleton, the first part has an MPX, MPX all together, so that means multiplication. And then an MX, so we need 2 more MX. Okay, so now we have our nice little skeleton here. This right here, I'll just get rid of that. Okay, so now X is 3. So everywhere we had an X, whoops, we're going to put a 3, not an X. And everywhere we see a P, we're going to put a 4. And everywhere we see an M, we're going to put a 6. Oh, I hope you know your multiplication facts, right? Because we're going to have 6 times 4 is 24. And 24 times 3. 24 times 3 is 72. Okay, so 72 plus 6 times 3 is 18. And we're going to wind up with a 90. That's right, 90. And that is the last practice on lesson 34. And this is Mrs. A. And may God bless your day.